Right.
Hey everybody, Breakthrough Health and Life Coach Glenn Hattem here. I'm here with my good friend Angel Sun. So did I say that right?
Yes. And you can call me Angelina too.
Okay.
Yes, my Chinese name is Anqi. So it actually is Angela. And when I'm here, and the people just started calling me Angel or Angie, but you can call me Angelina or Angel. But yes,
Okay.
that was great.
All right. So yeah, just want to make sure we've got it accurate for folks when they're looking for you online and stuff. Just to share a little bit about today's call is a conversation of transformation. A lot of transformation. Sometimes we think someone makes a decision and then it's a simple step-by-step process to accomplish those changes. And yes, it can be like that, but usually the path to arriving there is a lot of like trial and error and frustration and messiness to resolve, an issue or challenge in one's life. The path isn't always as smooth a process. And maybe share a little bit today about, we're talking a little bit about one's health and vitality, but also, wellness and what's revealed at the superficial level of the skin, but what's going on underneath systemically. That there's, I know you had some unique experiences with yourself and with family members and then with clients, where we sometimes take for granted or just kind of don't deal with and take a disregard for symptoms, signs that are coming up that traditional treatments meaning that we look at something and something is not right, and then we try to treat the symptoms versus trying to figure out the root cause of what might be going on at a deeper level. And until something happens with us, we're not often an expert. And then we have to become an expert because we run into some doors that someone in an authoritative position gets you to rule out other possibilities and says, this is the only way. And we find something that might not be working for us. And so we, in our seeking, we don't settle for, a degree of suffering. We finally reach a point within ourselves that we're like, hey, there's got to be another way to this. And we develop a tenacity or perseverance, a resilience that says, I'm going to solve these challenges, these concerns that I'm facing personally in my life right now, and I can't be the only one. And so maybe share a little bit in our opening today about what you're up to in the world and why it's so important to you, this work that you do.
Yeah. First, I want to thank Glenn for having me here. And yes, I completely agree with what you shared, because I guess I would say I'm always the type of black sheep. I've been vegans. Me and my parents would be vegans for 13 years. And at that time, and we moved from China to the States 10 years ago. So at that time, it's very not popular idea to be a vegan. People don't know what it is and what do you eat and all those stuff. And I always think we should not really believe what we've been told. That's just my belief, because after I really got information from my dad's friends. They try to say, hey, this is actually good for your health and all of that. And I did my research. I watched documentaries and I looked through the information, and I made a decision to be mostly plant-based. And now I'm a completely vegan diet family with my parents. And my belief is always the reason why we need to look at the whole picture, or don't just believe what's the norm, is because a lot of people will benefit out of people being unwell nowadays in the world, which is a sad truth. I don't say people need to, be completely vegan. I respect people eating whatever. It is a completely personal choice. But the government don't tell us, hey, eating more vegetables or less meat, less junk food could be healthy for you. People don't say that. But it's because the meat industry is pretty much a very thriving industry and they're rich. So the rich companies and the rich people are being protected. So we are wired, to eat maybe not so healthy diet, and we are what we eat. When your body is suffering, when your health is suffering, and you're facing the next big system, which is the pharmaceutical industry. And doctors have the great intentions. They got into medicine because they wanted to help people, but also they are trained to give us medicines. But medicines are most of the time just addressing the symptoms, don't address the root cause. So that is the reason why I want to say my perspective on health, or maybe on life, is I want to encourage people to look at the whole picture. And only by knowing the entire picture, we can make the best choice for yourself and your family. That may be a little bit longer answer to your question.
If I'm hearing you correctly, there's a lot of people that get into the medical field with really great intentions to make their mark and change the world and do good work. But they are coming into the modern world of medicine, which is prescriptions. And, it's short visits, symptoms, creating some degree of soothing for that individual, but not necessarily solving the issue at hand. There's no money in that. Big business is built around treating these common symptoms from common lifestyles.
Yes. And it's a pretty sad truth that, people could benefit out of make the world a better place. And I believe there are tons of people are doing that. But this is just a matter of fact, what's going on. There are a lot of improvements we could do in the health field, just currently in the traditional Western medicine. That's just my opinion.
Yeah. And I what I hear from you, because I know you're an architect, and from that background, it's like this thing could be, some architects could get in here and change things. But in the meantime, we need to do that for ourselves. So
Absolutely.
we have to take that personal responsibility. It's a lot safer place to be. It's not that you don't trust experts, but to a certain extent. And then you yourself have to be paying attention and mindful of what's needing redirection in your life constantly. It's constant adjusting to different situations. And so maybe share a little bit about because you're involved with some really great products and services these days, but maybe before we get into that, let's kind of jump back a little bit. And as I mentioned, you being an architect, and talking a little bit about maybe how you arrived here with your family, and what you are observing as a young person in the world, and how certain values became, high priorities for you because of some hard lessons you were going through. And I think our audience always loves to learn about, why you're staking your claim in a particular direction. What drove you to this? Was there must have been enough brute force behind that, driving you to really aspire for a different world to be created.
Yes.
So maybe share a little bit about your experiences, leading up to today.
Absolutely. Yes. I mentioned a little bit previously, me and my parents were from China originally, and we moved to the States 10 years ago. And yes, we started vegan diet actually before that. So yes, I graduated as an architect, but of course, I'm still naturally very passionate about health. And my family's a little bit background about them is that 10 years ago, before we moved here, that was the 2008 and the aftermath and all of that. So unfortunately, my parents lost their business before we moved into the States, because the original perfect plan was, okay, I'm always planning to study abroad. But my parents lost their hard-earned business during that time. And we came to the States together as a family because we wanted to stay together, but also with almost just 3 suitcases. So the past 10 years, we've been rebuilding a new life here in a new country, and as an immigrant family. And that's where my parents, comparing to before, had perfect health. And first is my dad. We found him had depression because he lost his life work. That made slow transition into early signs of dementia. My mom, I really respect her doing that. My mom started a small nail salon with her friend in San Francisco City. And my parents, to be honest, they're still learning the language. So I really respect my mom are able to do that. And she worked crazy amount of hours to be able to support me through my architecture school and paying our San Francisco rent. So yeah, of course, it's a lot of work to put on my mom's body and health. And several years in, my mom started having issues coming up. She had shoulder pain, brain fog. It's not even vertical, but she's feeling dizzy and could lose her balance sometimes. My mom had I said shoulder pain, and my mom had a low energy. She's always feeling tired, and it's annoying when you needed to work all the time. And she's most stressed out, like most women, is the aging sign. And for myself, I am, well, I'm 29 this year, so turning 30. So yes, a young adult still, but at that time I had a skin challenge. So I went to clinical treatment for my acne for about a year. These were all happening around the similar time. And what led to my business, which is in cellular health, is because I was searching for a solution basically for my parents. And I discovered ASEA, the cellular health company, and their technology because Huffington's Post and the Forbes magazine featured the technology. That's where I found it. And I always believe I am led to the big decisions in my life, and I trust my gut feeling because I do those meditation and all of that. And I do believe I was led to this technology. And Huffington's Post said, these are 5 emerging technologies that will shape human beings' future. And Forbes magazine already took this article out, and maybe because the farmers might reach out, it's like, oh, if we're going to take out the ads, if you put this article about the alternative approach or whatever. But anyhow, we could still find the Huffington Post article there. And I look up the science a little bit. I was really drawn to the idea. So what's in the CS product? I love it's not any new invention. It's not another exotic juice or another vitamin pill or another energy booster. What's in the products, the technology, the patent is called Redox signaling molecules. So Redox stands for.
Mhm.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I was just repeating that back out for our audience. Redox. Say it again one more time for everybody.
So it's REDOX, and it's a fancy word combination of reductant and oxidant. So that's what it stands for. And I don't want to go too much into the science, but scientists and the doctors, they probably know because they all learned this in medical school. It's a chemical reaction happened during the Krebs cycle, where the mitochondria took the salt and the water from the food we eat and turn them into energy. So this is a kind of molecules we already have in every cell of our body. And they are called signaling molecules because they allow the signals to be sent through within our body, because our body is a very complex communication network. It's sending a signal every single second while we're talking right now. And only when your cells are able to signal, so they're talking to each other and your whole body is communicating, then you're healthy. That's a perfect world and everything goes smoothly. But the matter of fact is we started naturally losing those molecules around puberty, 1% every year. That's the real reason why human body are getting sick and we are aging. Because if you look at those disease, aging, discomforts, injury on the cellular level, which is deep root for all our health problem on the mountain level, if we don't talk about mindset or mindfulness and all of that. If we look at those things on the cellular level, they are pretty much all damaged cells. If you have a heart disease, that's damaged heart cells. If you have an injury or pain, that don't go away. Their damaged cells are not being healed properly. And the inflammation, of course, it's another topic. And I had damaged skin cells, right, for my acne, need to be detoxed and repaired, for etc. So, and redox molecules, their natural function is they detect and find those damaged cells in our body and either go repair them or tell them to kill themselves off if they're too badly damaged. That's its natural function. That's why when we had enough redox molecules, like before puberty, right? Think about when we were 5 years old, or your little ones, they had tons of energy and they can jump around, and then they bump into something, they heal the next day. And they never wake up the next day and I say, oh, mom and dad, I have a sore back or I have a pain muscle. No, and their skin look perfect. That's one human body, you were functioning at the optimal level because you had enough trillions of redox molecules in your body. And but think about when you were a teenager and you started going to gym and maybe you do some weightlifting and you will feel sore the next day. So your body are already not healing as fast at that time. So this is a natural, I don't know, aging process, and you will lose the redox molecules more and more, right? 1% every year. We're growing older. So your storage of redox molecules are reducing, and your body's capacity of making redox molecules also reducing. And we could lose them even faster these days with the environmental toxicity, with our lifestyle, the oxidative stress. So that's why people are getting sick more easily and people are aging faster. Anyhow, that's because it's a podcast, so I'm going along more into the science. And I learned all of this afterwards from those naturopathic doctors webinar or some, just professional webinars on redox science. Anyhow, I love the idea that, what's in the products is about replenishment. The breakthrough, the patent comes from they stabilize those redox molecules. So they replicate it and stabilize those identical, critical, foundational redox signaling molecules in the product. So it's the only product, if we will, on the market that we can replenish redox molecules back into the human body. And the reason why you raised magazines like Huffington Post attention is because many scientists, doctors have been trying to do it before for past decades, but they were not able to do it because the nature of the molecules are very fleeting. So it's like catching a spark to stabilize them. That's how amazing human bodies are. But for just technology advancement, they were not able to do it. But ASEA as a company, they had the intellectual property and the patent, had the stabilized redox molecules in the products now for 12 years. And it is in 35 different markets, different countries in the world. So the technology, the patent is completely out of trial because, before any patent or whatever got into other country, they're going to check everything and make sure, okay, you're legit. That's how you can say, okay, we're in this market now and we have a distribution center here. But anyhow, back to my story. I took a leap of faith, just follow my heart. And because I checked the safety study, there's no toxicity in the product. There's zero toxicity. And less toxicity than a cup of water we drink these days, because it's just your own molecules in the product. So I know this can never hurt my parents. And that's very powerful because nothing could really claim, hey, this can never hurt you nowadays. Drugs have side effects, right? But I said, well, I don't know how this is going to help, but at least it can never hurt you guys. And there's a money back guarantee. There's nothing to lose, to give it a try. And we did. We actually been on the products for at least 3 years before I started partnering with the company to spread the word. And meanwhile, yes, it helped my dad with his memory issue I can now make medical claim here. People knows what I'm talking about. And my dad had this discomfort in his knees for decades. It's issue a lot of elderly people will have in your joint. And these issues were resolved basically for him. And it's by enhancing that cellular communication. So your body started doing the repairing. And so it harnesses your body's own power to keep you well. And my mom also is in perfect health these days. Her business got even busier, but she's energetic and always ready to go. And just for the anti-aging benefits, my mom looked a lot younger, a decade younger, and she's really happy about it. And Glenn saw our before and after pictures. For my skin, it cleared my skin after 3 months, and it saved me
Yeah, I've seen some
a
of the
lot of
photos.
money.
I've seen some of the transformations, and so it's from what I hear, ASEA is basically at the forefront of rejuvenation products these days that are trying to get
Yes.
all the canisters firing again like they would in your in your youthful days. How do we, because that's what's happening, where from what I'm hearing from you, the science is saying this is where the breakdown is happening, and so this is where we go in and reset things. And it was almost 3 months time to have your skin clear up as much as I've seen in those images. It's very dramatic, and that for you, is all obviously a certain degree of research, but also a leap of faith. And I'm going to go in this pathway versus others. I'm sure you were being advised by one authority saying this path, this path, and you're just knowing that something's wrong and off with your system. And so we often talk about resets when we talk about one's health and well-being, but you experience with yourself and your parents quite a bit of a reset that has driven the obvious path for you to this is a direction I need to go down as well. Complementary to the work that I'm doing as an architect. This is something else that I want to really pursue because it's important to you, and it's one's vitality and longevity and feeling attractive and healthy and vibrant is important. So
yes. The that's one of the biggest reason in the decision-making process, because we had been on products for 3 years, and I graduated at a time, I had been freelancing for architecture projects. So just life's busy, and I would just say, yeah, we're getting healthy. That's great. But I think first of all, it's because it's so aligned with what I believe in health. It's a process for me, because meanwhile, I started learning more about the company story and about really dig deeper into the science, all those stuff. So about a company, originally the original founder is called, his name is Burtis Norton, and he's used to be the head strategist for Kraft's Food. So it's a Fortune 50 company, and he helped this group of scientists to claim the patent. And so he has had a patent at a time. And as a businessman, initially, he just wanted to commercialize the patent. And so he was thinking, oh, I've only sold food before, then maybe I bring this to pharmaceutical industry and they're going to make it, I don't know, alternative medicine or whatever to make people healthy, right? But no. So what happened is 3 big pharmas are just offering huge checks, and they wanted to buy the patents and shut the company down, to shelve the patent. So this is a proof of this is the real deal. So they don't want us to be out there, basically. So that's the backstory. And what happened is, luckily, Burtis Norton already had about 40 people. That's from his family members and church friends were the focus group that started taking this liquid, because first of all, again, there's no toxicity, so it can never hurt, and there's a perceived health benefit. And then they started willing to say, yeah, okay, we will try it and give you our feedback. And the 6 to 7 of these people, among them, were in the hospice. So they were in a really critical situation, for their health state. And what happened is their house would turn around so much that you could really say this pretty much saved their life. And the liquid before it has the name. And their house were looking up so much. And the verdict said, well, these are the people I know. So I kind of can now just look into their eyes and say, hey, you guys have to stop taking this thing that improved your health or saved your life, if you will, because I'm taking this huge amount of money. He couldn't do that. And he said, well, I'm in my 70s. I think I want to leave a legacy. I think the world deserves to know about this stuff. So that's where the company started. He turned on the check for those people he knows, and started company ASEA. Because the world has access to this technology. So yes, even though it is a product and with a company, but technology-wise, it's truly a science breakthrough. And also, the second reason I learned from those doctors' webinar is, first of all, we are losing them. So those redox molecules passing puberty. So in my mind, I was like, oh, then I'm passing puberty, because the backstory is I didn't start with taking the liquid. I was letting my parents do it. In my mind, I was literally thinking, yeah, it's a supplement, right? It looks promising, but I thought it's another supplement because there are so many products out there on the market. So that's why I was talking to my parents. I said, you guys take it. I only need the skincare because of my skin issue. But at that time, I'm in my 20s. I'm a vegan. I exercise every day. I don't need a supplement just yet. But yes, again, from what I shared earlier, I learned, hey, I'm passing puberty. So that means my body needs it. Also, later on, I learned the analogy of a big house. If we look into our house as a big house, then redox molecules, they're the laborers to build a house.
Right.
They still need the building materials, right? That's why we eat food, we need the nutrition, and the people taking supplements. I still take a protein product because I exercise every day. We don't have a protein product. And I take vitamin B12 because I don't get that from vegan diet. So of course, depends on the individual. Your cells need nutrition to be empowered. It's just common sense. But I guess before ASEA, that means before redox molecules, before we have a means to replenish them back while losing them, I guess the labors are missing. So that's why a lot of people will say, oh, how come I take supplement, I exercise, or I do all the right things? How come they don't work as well? Or how come I still get sick? It is because without the enough labors or without the labors, those building materials are not being properly absorbed or utilized. So after learning that, that's the biggest turning point for me, I guess, in my mind. I really realized just mentally, I was like, oh, okay, first of all, I need it. And the second of all, it's not something nice to have then. It's something basically foundational for our cellular health and cellular communication. And then I saw the business opportunity, of course. And because that's the reason why I started taking them ever since and never stopped for 5 years, starting in my 20s. And also in my mind, I feel completely confident then to share with people, hey, this is how it works. This is why you need it. And it's not something nice to have, but it could be the key or the answer for your health. It just makes me feel completely confident, or like a mission to spread the word for me. And yes, I am working on retiring my mom because I wanted to retire her. She worked so hard for our family. And I wanted to use this as a platform also to give my family the financial freedom we deserve. So yeah, all of this made me started doing the business 3 years ago.
Yeah, and it speaks a lot that you're still with the same product line, still using family as well, being that there's always so many different new things coming out each year that are vying for your I guess, monthly supplemental investment that's a foundational piece as part of your other dietary respects and other, you have your other health investments too. We were just talking earlier just about, you've got your climbing gym membership, or being in the Bay Area. There are a lot of other expenses that are vying for your dollars. And so you've found from your personal experience that when there are some health issues going on, they need to be addressed as soon as possible. Trying to look at what the underlying causes are. It sounds like you did a lot of research and looked into a product line that had integrity, had a reputation, and then have discovered the opportunity to just get involved further with it because it's something you really believe in. And so from a business standpoint, you also have invested further into it, seeing this as a viable supplemental income as well. Can you share a little bit about how people would get a hold of you? What would be the best way if they wanted to learn more about the products and the different variables of impact that these things can have, not just from your story with your parents and yourself, but there are all kinds of things that this type of resource could be available for someone dealing with some unique problems going on, unique symptoms. So how might people get a hold of you to do a little research and scout you out online, and then maybe reach out and give you a call? So
Absolutely, yes. People could go to my website with ASIA, and it's ANQI, Q like question. That's Anqi. That's actually my Chinese name. So ANQI, ASIA, ASEA, live, LIVE.com. Oh, sorry. Rewind. Delete, rewind. My website is anqi.myasealive, myasealive.com. Couldn't even spell my website, so I hope people catch that. And you can also send me an email. It's ASUN, so that's sun, ASUN, ASEA@gmail.com. That's my email.
Great. And what's typical when someone's wanting to reach out and have a consult with you to find out about, sharing, they're calling in and sharing about what's going on they're up against at the moment, being vulnerable, sharing some, some challenges that they're trying to solve, and then they're trying to see if there's a connection with you and a trust in the product and organization. Like, how does that process work with someone reaching out and connecting with you, saying, hey, I want to take this a step further? What might that look like for them?
Yeah, I always believe in connection, and I would like to learn this individual that I'm talking to first. What are your challenges, right? What are your problems? And make sure I am a good fit to solve your problem first. That's my pre-qualifying process, because you cannot just work with everyone, right? And ASEA, of course, is a powerful key for people's health problem. But you also need to see if you really trust me, and I could be your partner in your health journey as a ASEA rep. So normally, yes, of course, I do a call with people first, just to learn about each other and see if you trust me that I can, or like me, or I like you, to be able to work together, because then it will be a committed partnership. I'm committed to achieve a result with the client I'm working with, or even, to be honest, day-to-day basis, the majority of the people I'm working with kind of like partners together to spread wars are doctors, health professionals, and fitness trainers. Yes, because this I mentioned with Glenn was actually approved by the Olympic Training Committee. So it's great for athletes. Olympians actually recommended to be on it. In training, pushing hard for your body, it's all about, again, damaging your cells. And this could be a great way to just enhance people's athletic performance and help you recovery post-training, and also even recovery from injury. But anyhow, and for those partners, even we work together, is all because we found these are aligned, our mission aligned, right, during those discovery call process. and to make sure we actually are a great fit to work together. And then I'm committed to help my business partners and my client. So that's two choices. These are two choices. People could just try the product as a customer. And ASEA, as a company, we offer 100% refund. 30 to even up to 90 days, I believe. There's no question asked when people say, but I never had case like that. But it shows company sincerity that, hey, we just want you to have an experience, give it a 5-year trial, right? Because it does take 128 days scientifically proved for your complete cellular rejuvenation. So 90 days are pretty good trials. We have trillions of cells in your body, right? But 90% of people could feel the difference in 90 days. But anyhow, that's only when it speaks to people and they want to see if this is my solution and give it a try. But anyhow, through those discovery call, and we can discover if there's a next step necessary. And then you can become my customer, or we could be on this mission together. But at that point, I will be really committed to your health success or your business success with me. So that's a very general process.
I'm assuming in your process, your discovery call, there's an analysis of there's a questionnaire or something they fill out, maybe about what they're up against themselves that's unique to them. It might be totally different symptoms or things that you were dealing with, your parents. I'm assuming there's a piece to the process that kind of helps draw to the surface what things could be helped, supported.
Yeah, it will all happen during our conversations, because I would say I'm a Redox specialist now at this point, and I could answer any questions people might have, and so these will all happen during our call. I will see and also prove you the values that this could make you have in your life. But yes.
Well, I just want to say thank you so much for being on this call and sharing with our audience about your story and how you've been impacted in such a positive way. And I think when people get on a call with you, they'll get an opportunity to get to know you well, as vice versa. But they'll really get to some of the images and what you've had to overcome is a pretty extraordinary story. And just excited about you connecting with folks. I think it's an easy conversation to have with you and to get informed of this. As you'd mentioned, there's not any risk, just have a conversation. And I want to thank everybody for listening in and tuning in for our next episode. And I just want to thank you for being with us today, just to have a conversation about your unique story and offering in the world. And I really believe there's a positive impact that's shaping the way technology and science is changing things in the forefront. Maybe we'll be around a lot longer with the science, not just dealing with removing some symptoms, but our longevity, our vitality being expanded upon. We're in this unique era of that, and so excited to hear about you on the forefront. And just want to thank you and just say appreciate having you. So.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Glenn, for having me. And thanks everybody for listening.
Yeah, we'll see you guys. All right. Thank you so much. Okay.
Thank you. Bye-bye.